Morning, everyone. Hi. Good morning. Welcome to the second day of the Interregional Thematic Seminar based on the access for funding for crafts enterprises. A warm welcome also to the guests that are watching us online and also to you here. I hope the day yesterday was not too hard and that you are full of energy for this second day. We are going to start today. We are going to go directly into business. We are going to start today with a presentation from Hilde Hoefnagels from AP Antwerpen, in Belgium. She's going to talk about the takeaways from the networking sessions that we had already till now. I remember you that we have already spoken about 3 topics in the past. We are now at the last topic, the 4th topic. And Hilde is going to recap a little bit what we have learned so far till now. And Hilde, the floor is yours. I'm going to wait. Sorry, I'm going to.
So good morning, everybody.
Here you
first
have.
of all, I would like to. Oh, this is going to go wrong. I would like to excuse me for my voice, but at least I have one. Sylvia and Laura can testimony that last week I had no voice at all, so you will have to do what I have today. A few things I would like to work with you this morning. Okay, this is maybe a little surprise, but okay, it will wake us up and keep us awake for the rest of the day. I tried to visualize how we work in this project. Now, this is my idea, my perception, so I ask of you to go together with me through all of this, and then feel free to comment, add, omit, whatever you want, okay? So I see this project as a 3-phased project. First, we have the 4 first semesters, which we have passed. Then we have 5 and 6. Then we have semesters 7 and 8. Can you all see it? It's maybe too small. Is it small? Maybe too small. Okay. So go to the very bottom of the first semester session. There is where it all started. In our own organizations, we learned from the state of play in every organization, so very small scale. From this bottom, we go up and we work with our stakeholders. So we learn from the stakeholders, what they have, what they can bring into this project. And then we move up forward to the consortium, so the international group that CRAFTS code is. You will remember this word that I invented, this atomic, this title atomic, all the good practices needed to respond to atomic, which meant they had to be an ambassador, so the forerunner, if you want, in their field, transferable, because we can have a lot of good practices, but if our other partners cannot do anything with them, they are fairly useless, transferable. Objective oriented, it needs to have a specific goal, well-described goal. Measurable, if we cannot measure, then we can't move forward. Innovative, this speaks, I think, for itself, and also complete. Also matters of attention and problems needed to be mentioned. I must say that all the partners are very true to this system. And whenever I receive the good practices, they all correspond to the atomic system, let's say. So good for you, extra vote. So this is, still in this first phase of the project, how we were working. We were seeing and learning in our own context, in the context with our stakeholders, and in the European context. So to move up and to broaden it up. Then the second level approach is where we are now. Semester 5. 5 and 6 go together. You will see at the very bottom the matchmaking sessions. This is what we did on the 30th of September, and later on I will go a little bit more into depth there. These matchmaking sessions will then lead to peer reviews and then to a joint analysis. So the whole group can make a joint analysis of what we have actually learned in the first phases of the project. Knowing this, we can move to the third phase, semester 7 and 8, where we will act and monitor, which are two equally important phases, two equally important verbs, let's say. So we implement the action plans, we work towards policy changes, and we monitor. Actually, this monitoring thing could be all the way through all three. I thought of this morning during breakfast, because monitoring is very important, otherwise we cannot learn. It's not about good or bad, but it is about checking up with what we are doing and where we are at each moment in the project. And throughout all this, this is a very long arrow, that's me, moving with you through all these phases. Okay? So this is what I present to you, partners and stakeholders. You can feel free to comment, ask questions, and later on you can also send me maybe an email with what you would like to see changed, etc. Is there anybody who has a first reaction? You're going to make my work very easy. Or do you have to think about it, and do you prefer coming back on this later, maybe in the next monthly meeting? That's also a possibility. Let's see, what do partners prefer? Come back? You want to come back to me? Okay. Shall we agree then that this is a small homework? And that when we meet again online with Carlotta, the first meeting of the month, that we come back to this system and I get some input from you, feedback and input? Okay. I have a great public this morning, I must say. Thank you. So, the matchmaking session, you will remember the 30th of September. This frame was made by our colleague from Ireland, Nicola. We had, all partners had to come up with the good practices that they really stood for, the 3 preferred good practices. We brought everything together in this fantastic scheme, and then you could go and visit the owners of the good practice and speak more into depth about the good practice itself and see how it could be made more transferable to your own situation. I have read all the reports of all the partners. Of course, I'm not putting them all on a slide. Everybody can read. I put them together in one document and I will send them to you. But these are my impressions. It was very pragmatic. The questions and answers went really to how do I have to do this? So it was really hands-on information that you got from it. The first question, of course, for everybody was, what were your resources, financially and human? Which is obviously very important. What were your experiences in preparation of the good practices, and what, when looking back upon it, what is your own feedback, your own self-reflection, the post-experience, let's say. And then, unfortunately, and I still have to write it today, because it still is present, how is COVID playing a role in all this? How did it affect your good practice? And you will see from the report that many good practices suffered, actually, from COVID. The first thing I'm now thinking of is the folk festival in Hungary. Yeah, it's very logical. If you cannot meet, how are you going to organize a folk festival with so many people? Some partners had a very specific approach. So they had thought of it very well beforehand. For instance, the Italians, they put the information mainly in 2 big questions. What were your challenges? What were your difficulties? Of course, from these 2, you can learn a lot. You get a lot of information that you then can use in the transferred version for your own country. And Finland, they immediately saw, how can we implement this in our action plan? How can we translate this to the action plan? And what they decided upon it is actually written in their report. So I will send it to you. You can see how they did it. This is, again, not about right or wrong. It's about everybody's approach. But I think we can all learn from each other. What I found remarkable, looking at it from outside, is that the online voucher scheme is the most popular. But it is funded from the government. And this is, for me, a little bit peculiar, remarkable, because you probably then all rely on the government funding in your own countries. You are sure that you will get it, etc., etc. So these are questions that I put in my head. Of course, the networking amongst the stakeholders, that was a great extra that we got from the matchmaking, because all the stakeholders are present in the project, but they never get really an occasion to meet. Obviously now we can again, since we meet again. But this matchmaking session was a great occasion for them to meet. So I would say the session was really successful, because it was practical, hands-on. Partners can now start implementing these good practices. It is also clear that there is the will and the desire in the partners to work with these good practices. I feel that you want to look for a way to implement them in your own situation. I find that very, very positive. And I think this is a good basis for the peer review sessions. You will remember the 5th semester, the first action, the second action, I'm sorry, is then the peer review session. Okay, for the moment, that's it. It is a global overview, and I will send my report to Carlotta, who then can send it to all the other partners. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Hilde. I think this was a clear review of what we have done till now. Now we are going to have a presentation from my dear colleague Eva Curto, who works also in the area of entrepreneurship, innovation, and SMEs here at EOI. And she's going to present the co-working spaces that we have. We have more than 50 co-working spaces here in Spain, and in particular the European co-working, because she is working at an international level, and she is going to present our European co-working. I'm going to put your presentation. Epa. So, let's have it. Sí. Voy. Well, yep, here it is. Thank you, Eva.
Good morning. Thanks, Silvia and Laura, for inviting me. Thank you guys for having me today. How has been your journey in Spain? Good. With the masks, it's a little bit more difficult. Did you have dinner yesterday? Was it yesterday? They were a little stressed out because they couldn't find a place, but they did. Okay. So my name is Eva, as Laura said. I work with Laura and Silvia in the Innovation, Entrepreneurs and SMEs department, more specifically in the transnational and international cooperation with EU partners mainly. And I'm here today to explain you a little bit more about the European Co-workings program, which we started 5 years ago, and we are developing actually now our 7th and last edition. So next spring, 2022, it will be finished completely. So this picture is about us, entrepreneurs and mentors from more than 13 countries all over Europe. This was at a closing event, wrap-up event in Murcia, before COVID came, where these big plenary events were possible. Hopefully time will come again where we can meet together more people. I'm sure it will. And just to give you a little bit of a framework of what this is, so the European Coworkings is within the European Social Fund. I'm sure you are familiarized with what funding in Europe is. So Spain adopted the National Operational Program for Employment, Training and Education. And this is a pre-acceleration international program for Spanish entrepreneurs. Talking about entrepreneurship, today is the International Day of Women Entrepreneurship. We also have a program aimed at female entrepreneurs only, but this European Coworkings is both for men and women. So this is within the Axis 7, Transnational Cooperation and Investment Priority, promoting self-employment, entrepreneurial spirit, and creation of enterprise, including innovative micro, small, and medium companies. So these are more pictures of wrap-up events in Malaga, in Madrid, again in Malaga several years ago, and this is again a big one also in Murcia, when the sun always shines. And just to give you a little bit of a very general overview of what this is. So the European Coworkings program is, what we do is per edition, we select all over Spain between 40 and 50 entrepreneurs, multi-sector. This means we have entrepreneurs that can launch projects on tourism, on marketing, on environmental management, whatever, okay? We welcome any sector. Craft, handcraft as well, of course, we've had some of them, and very beautiful indeed. And what we did before COVID came is, okay, we did like little groups, so we sent 5 entrepreneurs to Paris, 5 entrepreneurs to Berlin, 3 entrepreneurs to Zagreb, 4 entrepreneurs to London. Where? To an incubator or accelerator space there in the city. So there, these entrepreneurs would spend 4 or 5 weeks, okay, where they would receive one-to-one mentoring and training, and also they would get to know the local entrepreneurial ecosystem. So they were able to do B2B visits. It was not only about mentoring, it was about really getting a first-hand knowledge of what entrepreneurial ecosystem at the local level was. I think one of the best things we did is to create this super powerful network of European accelerators and incubators. There you can see more than 30 European partners that have joined. This is a list of accelerators in Europe that have collaborated with us and that have provided these mentoring services when our entrepreneurs were there. So I know it's very little, but I can give you an overview of what this is. So we've had a lot of impact hubs. I don't know if you are familiarized with the Impact Hub network. So Impact Hub is a global network, not only at a European level, but they're all over. And those are accelerators that accompany projects with social impact. So they're pretty specialized in social entrepreneurship. So in the list you see many impact hubs, but we also have other incubators in Antwerp, in Belgium, creative cities. We've had in the Netherlands, we've had in Hungary, Czech Republic, Romania, Bulgaria, France, really all over. More than 350 entrepreneurs have benefited from this program so far. And we couldn't have done this with transnational partners. And here I'm not meaning the incubators that provide with mentoring services. I'm meaning another partner who at the same time as we were receiving ESF funding for similar purposes, okay? So I don't know if you know this, but in the ESF there's an ESF partner search platform. I guess in Interreg Europe there might be another one. So what I did when I was launching this project 5 years ago was to go in the ESF partner search. It took me like 6 months to find for a proper partner that was receiving at the same time as me ESF funding to do similar things, so we could have synergies and partnerships. Without this, my managing authority wouldn't accept me doing this within this transnational axis, okay? So I think this was the trickiest part of it, to look for a nice partners. But finally, we did this beautiful collaboration with these ladies, Creative Cities in Antwerp, in Belgium. They are an accelerator aimed at also social entrepreneurship, but embracing diversity. Because in Antwerp, I don't know if you know, is there someone from Belgium here? Oh, good. In Antwerp, there's a lot of diversity, a lot of migrant people. It's a really beautiful community in many senses. So these ladies wanted to boost and to embrace this diversity while working with entrepreneurs. It was a very, very nice collaboration. We did not only, well, this is me with some of the ladies. Those were some of the mentors they had. And we did not only exchange entrepreneurs from Antwerp to Murcia. You can see the gap between, you know, the cultural shock and everything. But we also did training of trainers from EOI to Creative Cities, because we launched several years ago what we call the Agile methodology for starters, which is at the end lean startup with a little bit more of our 20 years experience with entrepreneurs. So they were younger, they were more junior in the sense of guiding entrepreneurs. So they received this training from us on how to accompany entrepreneurs all along the way, and it was good. And then we delivered a final common handbook for organizations, which is this one that was in Flemish, in English, and in Spanish, an entrepreneurial ecosystem builders handbook. Actually, I don't understand anything that is on the board. I'm guessing you do. And we also did exchange of mentors and methodology for young entrepreneurs, especially for young creative starters, which is very aligned to what you guys do. And then they ran out of budget, these ladies, and I had to look for another partner. So again, 2, 3, 4, 5 months to look for another partner. Again, I went into the ESF partner search platform, and I found the National Youth Forum in Bulgaria, which it was not as easy to work with them, because it was like a more, they were demanding in the sense of more paperwork or more, because their national authority was more strict, more than the Belgian one, in everything that was related to paperwork. But we did things. So those were the phases of the program, and are the phases of the program. First, we do a call for projects at a national level. Not all of the regions in Spain are eligible, because in this case, the European Social Fund is regionalized. This means we have a given amount of budget for the less developed regions, we have a given amount of budget for the most developed and for in-transition regions. So since we've done already 7 editions, in the first 2 cohorts, we ran out of the money for the most developed regions. So from the third, only entrepreneurs from in-transition and less developed regions were eligible. This was tricky again, because I don't know if you know, but the level of English of our entrepreneurs and of our youth in general is not like our superpower. And it's still a pending issue. It has been improving along, these past years, but still. And those entrepreneurs couldn't go to Europe if they didn't master English, of course. If they went to Portugal or to Italy, it would be somehow feasible. But if they go to Antwerp or to Stockholm, there's no way they couldn't take advantage of that. So the fact of the entrepreneurs coming from the less developed regions was tricky again, because we had to do like a plus effort in the dissemination of the call to have more candidates to do this filter. When we did the selection process, which is mainly a one-to-one interview, we could see who could take advantage of that and who not. So out of maybe 100 candidates, only 50% were really eligible. So selection of beneficiaries, which I explained, which is, a set of criteria, but mainly the personal interview. And then we did the matching. Entrepreneur, hosting center. According to some of criteria, so to some of the criteria we settled, not all of the European accelerators wanted to host the same profile of entrepreneurs. Some of them were more familiar or more at ease with senior entrepreneurs or with entrepreneurs that were boosting, IT projects. Okay, so this matching was not easy. And then once the matching was done, we started with the mentoring and the training. The training were webinars on entrepreneurship, how to get international, lean startup, how to do your pitch, finance, marketing, and so on and so forth. One of the things that I really, that I really saw in the process is that our entrepreneurs, some of them were super keen of their ideas, but when it came to do the numbers, and after maybe 6 months of having run their project, we sat with them, and it was not sustainable at all in terms of finance. I don't know if it happened with to you as well. So they were like super motivated with what the technical thing or the creative idea was, but then the mentorship really helped them to tell them, listen, this is very nice, but this is not sustainable. I mean, I don't know how you're going to make a living out of this. So the mentorship was really helpful for them in this sense. Before the time abroad, so before these 4 or 5 weeks in Europe, we started already with an online mentoring. So they received a couple of sessions before, so that the mentor in Prague or in Berlin or in London that was going to be the host had already an idea of what the expectations of this entrepreneur was, and had the time to make for them an agenda of B2B visits and these kind of things. And then the time abroad, and then the final wrap-up event, which is the photos that I showed you. In these wrap-up events, all of the mentors, well, not all of the mentors, one mentor per hosting center was invited to Spain, and all of the entrepreneurs were invited. So in this wrap-up event, it was about exchanging, do the pitching. So the entrepreneurs would do their pitch in front of what we call a committee that was composed of different mentors from the EU. And well, this is the entrepreneur's profile and selection. So the criteria of the selection process were those. So the entrepreneur's business project had to be underway or already running, but not more than 3 years old, okay? Even if they have not created the company itself, and if they were in the ideation phase, it was good for us, okay? Project ideas can address any field of activity, so we've had entrepreneurs, as I said, doing IT, tourism, health, collaborative economy, green economy, social innovation. Special consideration, of course, was given to innovative ideas and a high level of English. Per edition, we admit normally 240 to 50 entrepreneurs. And then here, it's very little, but I read you that for you. The selected participants prepare a 2-3 minute video in English. So they would send us the video explaining what their project was, and we saw the video before doing the interview, the personal interview. So the video and the personal interview gave us an idea of if they were suitable or not. The matching. So EOI carefully studies all business ideas and interviews of all entrepreneurs and assess all hosting centers' profiles. So to that end, hosting centers send EOI their strong fields of expertise. For instance, Impact Hub Hamburg is very strong in agro-food and environment, or in Estonia they were super strong in IT. And, so this is how we did the matching. So here are mainly the phases that I explained you. The online training, it's common for all the selected entrepreneurs. So the webinars address the main phases of EOI's agile methodology for startups, which, by the way, if Laura and Silvia, you want to share that with them, it's on our webpage in Spanish and in English. So if you can check that out, this methodology is available. Then the online mentoring before they travel is 1 hour or 2 hours Skype session, Skype, Zoom, you name it, between the European mentor and the entrepreneur. And at this stage, accurate needs from the entrepreneur are assessed by the mentor. Then the time abroad. In the time abroad, they receive 40 hours of mentoring, which is a lot, which is 2 hours a day. So it's pretty intense, because at the end of the day, they receive mentoring, they receive the webinars, but they are still working on their projects. So the entrepreneurs were sometimes a little bit stressed out with the program. Okay, so this is the wrap-up event, just to end, where the entrepreneurs present their business pitches to the European mentors. So what we do here, because they're pretty, so there are a lot of entrepreneurs, so we do several parallel slots and presentations in different classrooms. And then they get feedback not only from their hosting centers, but also from experts of other European entrepreneurship centers. It is not an exam, it is just to present my project to different mentors from different countries so that I can get feedback, valuable feedback from them to what I do. And then entrepreneurs and mentors share their mentoring experience, and then, of course, lessons learned and takeaways for the future are collected. So in terms of money, what does the program cover for entrepreneurs? So the entrepreneurs benefit from all these things without any cost, all the training and mentoring expenses, the travel costs to and from the city of destination where the hosting center is, could be Budapest, Prague, Vienna, whatever, the accommodation, apart hotel or whatever, during 4 or 5 weeks, medical insurance. What is not covered is only 2 things. The local transportation once they're there. For instance, if I'm an entrepreneur that goes to London and I have to take the metro every day to go to my co-working space, the metro is on my side, okay? And then the food. The food was not an eligible cost for entrepreneurs in this program. Many years ago, food was eligible, but I guess there was a lot of corruption in this country. And then the managing authority decided, okay, food is out. I think it was that reason. Our best achievement is undoubtedly our European network of mentors. So this is not really updated. I would say 40 European incubators have participated in 22, 23 EU countries. So it has been really a very nice journey. These are some of our mentors. We have Martina from Poland, or Daria from the Netherlands, Lila from the UK, Joanna from Austria, Igor from Germany, Beatrix, which is like our top one, from Hungary, Eric from France, Jana, but there are many, many more. And as results and indicators, again, sorry, this is not updated, so 7 editions in 5 years, more than 300 participants. This percentage of women, men, I guess it's okay, 40% women, even a little bit more, 45% women, 55% men entrepreneurs, 30-something European incubators, more than 20 member states. So after these 5 years, it has been a very strong and powerful program. The total budget of this was 4 million euros. Again, you see that this is regionalized, okay? So we have like different blocks of regions in Spain in terms of ESF. The less developed regions, Extremadura, there we really had difficulties to find a critical mass of entrepreneurs with a level of English that was acceptable. It really was. In transition regions, Andalucía, Castilla-La Mancha, Murcia, Melilla, and the Canary Islands, and the developed regions, which is, of course, Madrid, Barcelona, Asturias, Galicia, and so on and so forth. I have to say that this program was awarded with Registrars. Well, we were not awarded with the final prize. We were finalists in the Registrars Awards some years ago in the category of education and training. So I went to Brussels to receive the award, and it was very, very nice. And the program has been, in my experience and from the feedback from our women and men entrepreneurs both, for some of them, really a life-changing experience. The fact of letting everything go and just go to London, Berlin, Paris, or whoever, wherever, has been a life-changing experience for them. Here are some of our entrepreneurs and mentors in Budapest, in Bucharest, in Berlin at the bottom, in Sunderland, UK, in Ireland, in Toulon, France. Those are Skype images because along the way we did we checked in with them because we were here, of course. When traveling was easy, I would go to some of the incubators in Europe to see how they were doing. Of course, I couldn't go to all of the centers because I'm talking about 15, but maybe we could go to 3, 4. But in the meantime, we did online check-in with them to see if everything was okay. So this is like a traceability evidence. And yes, those pictures of Startplatz in Köln, La Corday in Lyon, again Better House Berlin, in Stockholm. This was Belgium and Prague. And yes, Fundación EOI, which is where we work, has been committed to contribute through this project to the European investment in human capital by means of transnational cooperation. So as Marianne Thyssen said, which was the former Commissioner for Employment, Social Affairs, Skills and Labour Mobility, she loved our program, and she said the European Social Fund gives millions of Europeans better job opportunities, such as the project that you're doing with Silvia and Laura, and a chance to develop their skills. And I'm confident that this program will make a positive difference to many people in Spain, where unemployment, and especially youth unemployment, remains a pressing challenge. It still is. Unfortunately, we've run out of budget, but we are receiving this big budget from the Next Generation funding, the Resilience and Recuperation funding. So this funding, from my side, I'm going to be in charge of a big program of attracting to Spain women talent, so female entrepreneurship to Spain. So when we launch the call, we will let you know. Okay? Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Eva. It has been really inspiring. We have a really huge project here. And I don't know if you have any questions. Do you want to comment? Again?
Thank you. I'm just wondering if, as a partner, you had any metrics that you had to adhere to, and in turn, if you had any criteria to measure the success factors of the entrepreneurs throughout the program.
That's a good question. There's one thing, the success factor immediately after the program was evaluated. So all of the projects received a mark, a grade, from 0 to 10. This was not only about, the grade was given by the lead mentor, of course, which is the person that knew the process. But this grade was not only about the technical or financial issues, but only about the motivation of the entrepreneur. So they received indeed a grade after that. And all of the entrepreneurs had to upload in one of the platforms that we have, deliverables. Deliverable means that at the end of the day, the addition of these deliverables is their business project. So the deliverables were the marketing plan, the business model canvas, the empathy map, the minimal viable product, the pitching, everything. This is one thing. The other thing, measuring their impact after 6 or 12 months, it's not, again, one of our superpowers. We do it too generally, in my opinion, not only for this program, but for all of the programs we do. So what we normally do here is we contract a consultancy company or a company that calls the entrepreneur by phone, but not all of them, like échantillon, una muestra, well, some of them. And of course, you don't get 100% of the feedback. So this is something that, in my opinion, would have to be improved. But from the feedback that we get, 70% after 1 year are still on board. which is good for Spain. It's very good. Many of them have pivoted the idea, have changed a little bit the idea, but they're still there. But yes, it is something that we still have to improve, the long-term evaluation, yeah. Thank you. You have more questions?
I have a lot of questions of you because I'm coordinating an incubator in Florence.
Wow.
And mainly we follow the same lines. So, but I want to ask you, how didn't you find difficulties to bring for 4 or 5 weeks the entrepreneurs abroad?
Because of their familiar circumstances?
Well, we always, when we offer some exchanges like this, they always say, no, we can't because we have to work, not just familiar, but the working problems, no? Entrepreneurs, you mean start-uppers, okay?
I mean start-uppers, yes. Which not all of them are dealing with a startup in the sense of scalability and technology. Many of them are self-employment, you know.
Yeah.
So know like the technical criteria of what a startup is, right? But yes, they work for them. They're freelancers.
Yes.
And to be honest, no. We didn't have that. We were having trickier things than that. I think if the ones that had children, of course, it was an issue. And even some of them went with their families to 4 or 5 weeks to the city. But since it was for free and it was such a good opportunity because everything was covered, you know, it's like a lot of course. It's very expensive. I mean, at the end of the the kickoff webinar, I always tell them what this costs to make them aware that they really have to take advantage of this because we're talking about maybe 10,000 euros or, you know, in everything. And no, I have to say we did find the entrepreneurs. The trickiest thing was the English level of them. That's
I understand because we have the same problem.
In Florence, in Italy might be the Latin countries, except Portugal are super in English, you know.
Really?
But we are not because we doubt the film's so good that we don't need to learn English. It seems that was more tricky than the conciliation.
Okay. I have another question. Sorry.
Yeah, sure, I have
How
time.
do you select mentors?
I put all my confidence in the accelerator. So I know Impact Hub, the network, and I know many of the incubators from my experience as well. And so I don't address one-to-one the mentor, but I trust the institution that this institution is going to provide me with a good mentor. Of course, there's a survey, una encuesta at the end, and the entrepreneurs have to qualify their mentors. The mentors who get a bad grade, they don't repeat. But I trust the institution.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's more questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, there is a question from the chat, the live chat on Zoom from David Blases.
Oh, we're live. Oh,
Yes.
hello, everyone.
From Artesania Catalunya. If you could please explain or give an example of craft entrepreneurship, of a successful craft entrepreneurship.
We've had two from Andalusia, Beatriz and Elena. They were doing a platform, like a marketplace of local crafts products, and they're still running after 5 years. And both of them have been also beneficiaries for our Womenpreneurs for Change program, which is the program that I mentioned that is only for females. So they have been addressees of both programs. Yeah, thanks for the question.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Dominic Timmans from App University in Antwerp. Both colleagues
In
are-
Antwerp?
Yes, as well.
Ah, good. I love Antwerp. I've been there 3 times already.
Okay, I should come back. I have a question about the budget for your staff, the staff who is behind the project. Do you manage with the funding of ESF, or is there any kind of co-funding?
Again the question?
About the funding from ESF?
Yeah?
For the administrative staff?
Me or my colleagues,
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you manage with the funding that they provide, or is there any co-funding?
There's co-funding from our Ministry of Industry, only at 10%, and 90% comes from ESF.
Okay, so it's completely funded for you?
Yep, it is. Which is great.
So important, yeah.
Which is great. The 90-10 ratio is only for transnational projects. For our national projects, Laura mentioned that we have many co-working spaces in Spain, which I do not manage, but my colleagues do. So co-working spaces where entrepreneurs would spend their 3-4 months and they receive mentoring and so on and so forth. Depending on the region they are, if the region is the most developed region, Madrid, Barcelona, they have 50% of funding from ESF and 50% of what we call a local partner. We can be the town hall, not EOI. So for EOI is 100% covered. And for the less developed regions is 80% ESF, 20% the local partner. But for transnational cooperation, we don't have a local national partner. So 90% is ESF, 10% is our ministry.
And the international partners, they depend from their own funding?
Their own national authorities. So for instance, when entrepreneurs from Antwerp came to Murcia, they cover the cost of their entrepreneurs.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you for your inspiring presentation, also from Antwerp, as you noticed. So I have a question about the nature of the project. You talk about
the nature?
The nature, yeah. You talk about projects, some are in the ideation phase, others have already started their company.
Yeah.
What were the percentages there?
Many ideation phases. So, like really mature projects that have been running 2-3 years, I would say 15%. Many of them were really in the first stages.
And did you notice a difference there in their progress and how they were mentored?
It was more exponential.
For the ones in the ideation phase.
Yeah, the learning curve is always like that. When you start something, of course, at the beginning you go. Not necessarily in the right way, but you go faster. When you're more mature, you get in this like meseta stage. I don't know in English how you call that, but like more stable phase. So they learned, I would say, faster the ones that were in the ideation phase, but the ones that were more mature got more or took more advantage regarding internationalization, getting international. That was good for them.
Yeah.
How to get international. Once I have once I'm running my business in Spain, I'm able already to scale up and get international. That was a powerful tool for them.
And about the survival rate, do you have any ideas of how many of these entrepreneurs are still in business?
Yes, what I explained to your colleague is after 1 year, 70-75% were still running, and after 1 year we're not good at all in doing this measurement, okay? But I keep in touch with many of them. I would say 50%.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's more than the average in Spain, which is very low. That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. But as I explained, many of them have pivoted and have changed and have oh my God, I tell them they're super brave because they feel very alone. Many of them are solo entrepreneurs. Not a lot of them have partners. And when they have partners, you know, when it comes to this equity thing, and it's not easy for them to deal with the team. So for me, they're really brave and really encouraging.
Yeah. Pivoting is part of starting up, of course.
Exactly.
So, One last question, and then I leave it to someone else. What are the main industries that you saw in the overall
main
project?
sectors or fields of activities.
Fields of activity. Yeah.
We saw many environmental issues and sustainability issues, green economy, circular economy. We saw a lot of digital marketing digital
Consultancy or yeah.
consultancy, yeah. In Spain, the tourism sector is super high. After the COVID, it's a little bit difficult now, but it has been one of our main sectors. So there has been a lot of tourism projects. Marketing, tourism, green economy, and the rest has been super varied, actually, very, very varied. We've had everything, from real estate to textile, to handcraft, really everything.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. More questions? In the chat.
Yeah, there is another one in the chat. It says, it's from Maria del Araujo. How can we apply to this program? When are the open call available?
Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you, Elena, that this is coming to an end. The call for this 7th and last edition is already closed, and we are ending this next year. So the mentoring has already started. But don't worry, because when the new call for female entrepreneurs is open, we will let her know, okay? Okay, have a nice day. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Eva. I think this was really inspiring. You have seen a really big project that we have developed thanks to Eva in the last 5 years. And now we are going to have a coffee break. You see, I need it. We are going to come back here for the people that are following online at 11:30, okay?
And what is the reason that youngsters do not want to take on this tradition?
I don't know. I think that because young people want to get everything in a short time and to earn money, of course.
Do they miss the love for the artifacts? Because
Yes.
I understand maybe that the traditional crafts people had really the love for what they were doing, and I
Yes,
think our Finnish
sure.
colleague is of the same group. They do it out of love and passion for a certain product. And do young people miss this?
Yes, perhaps. Yeah.
So it's not only about money.
No, it's not only for money, I think. And also because as in the case of the call for craft that we made for artisans, what we've seen is that craft is seen as something that has no time. I mean, when we proposed to them to digitalize themselves, like this. So, thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
It's true. Now I hear. Not all of the artisans accepted it, because they say we don't need to. We have an e-commerce run by some agency, okay, but it's not that, because you have to run your. If you have a shop.
Yeah.
You have to be in the shop, you have to talk to the people, and so now it's more difficult than before. So you can't not be out, because you will be out.
Yeah.
If you are out of internet, you are out. With the
Yeah, the world has changed, also for craftspeople, I think, because maybe I had in my head an idea about bringing crafts back to the city center, having like the laboratory open in the city center so that people would come back to the cities, be more interested, be more tourist. But I think now, after COVID, I have to rethink this, because it's not yet the case. Eh? in all the European countries, we are now facing the figures of COVID going up again, so not good. Huh? Let's maybe talk about the direct influence of COVID for the craftspeople. Rosa, can you maybe comment on that?
Well, actually, COVID was an interesting part in the life of the business.
I think you have to keep it somewhat closer.
Yeah, is it good now? Yeah, okay, I can hear it.
The mask, yeah.
So yeah, COVID was an interesting period in the life of my company because, of course, at the beginning in 2019, March, I had to stop. I'm running the workshop, so I host people every day. And obviously they could not come when this entire crisis started. But then I experienced that because of this distance and people had to stay at home, they became even more open for social activities such as the workshops. So from June 2019, the number of the workshops raised a lot, and people, I had kind of the same amount of income as before Christmas.
Were you allowed to see people? Were you allowed to come together?
In March, April, May, I was not allowed. Okay. And then starting from June, I could restart the workshops, and the number of the people were raising a lot. Also, like, we had restrictions, but since I am running courses for small groups of 4 to 6 people, it wasn't a problem because the studio is big enough, so I could host this amount of groups.
Distance, yeah.
Yes, but I had workshops on Mondays, Tuesdays. I had no idea how people can have free time on Mondays and Tuesdays. Or even like during the weekdays.
With the teleworking, I think it's with smart working that people can organize their jobs.
It can be, and it was super interesting for me because it changed the entire business model. Because before that, I was only running the long bag making workshops of one day for locals, for Hungarians, during the weekends. Because I had this idea that people only have time to do such an activity during the weekend, and I was running the workshops for foreigners and tourists from Monday to Friday. And when COVID started and then we could open again, I tried. I started to put on workshops for Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I was super surprised that people actually could come and join the workshop. And ever since, I am running courses from Monday to Sunday to locals. So it's changed everything. And yeah, this is how it happened.
Nathalie?
Yeah, in Antwerp, I also saw a lot of positive things that happened thanks to COVID from the entrepreneurs that I coached that were working in crafts, because all of a sudden they had a lot of free time or time that they would usually spend on being in the shop or doing customer service things, and now they all of a sudden couldn't see any people, and they put more time and effort in creating new collections, new things, and their online sales really rocketed. Because I don't know about all of your countries, but in Belgium during the COVID crisis, the government and also a lot of ambassadors and influencers, they put an emphasis on shopping local, and a lot of people actually did that. And also the crafts people, they had a huge advantage of this. And a second thing that I noticed that's really important in Antwerp, when you want to rent a commercial shop, it costs you a lot of money. Like for a space of 100 square meters, you, in the city center of Antwerp, you pay more than 10,000 euros easily. So that's a lot. And it's very heavy to carry for someone who just opens up a new shop, who wants to show their crafts. And if you want to show their crafts and also have a lot of people passing by your shop, then you need to be there in the spotlight in the city center. But because of the COVID crisis, all the prices dropped and are still really low in our city center, or low compared to what it used to be. So now you pay like 2,000-3,000 a month for commercial shops that used to be 10,000, 15,000. So that's a huge difference. And you see that those shops that didn't adapt to the crisis, which were most of the time not the young companies, but the more older traditional boutiques and shops, not really the crafts. They made a new space for these crafts and other young companies to emerge because they didn't adapt themselves, and that's just basically survival of the fittest. If you don't adapt, you die as a company. Yeah.
So this brings on two different items. One, the COVID did have some advantages for some people. I know from an artisanal chocolatier, and he said to me, "I'm very sorry, but the COVID was for me a great period. Everybody was indoors, and what did we do during COVID? We ate a lot, too much chocolate, etc." So positive things during the COVID, and from what I hear, is that maybe established businesses and young businesses reacted differently to the crisis.
But that's typical of a crisis. A crisis challenges the status quo, and yeah, there is. Some people say there isn't such a thing as a bad crisis. Sometimes you need a crisis to move on, to innovate, to make new talent emerge.
Can anybody complete this? Can you say something about the Spanish crafts companies and crafts people during the COVID? What did it mean for them? Were there some advantages or only bad news?
Let me think. How was the response like during this year? I think most of them try to open their shops online, like to commercialize online. They see that as the only option to continue with their work. But for some others, I think for those who have a shop or a workshop on their cities, they took the time to rethink and to stop, because their lives are so fast sometimes that the creative space that they should have, because they are artists and craft makers, they didn't have that time. So during this time they have stopped, or they have the time to think and to maybe to rethink their businesses and
what Nathalie said.
And trying to maybe be more digital, or be to focus on a specific goal, or maybe change, or maybe do a course. Like here in Spain, we did an online course, and some people were saying that this time was good for them just to get education.
Have this reflection period.
Yeah, it's a reflection period, and I think.
But has COVID changed the way of doing business forever, or is it something temporary? What do you think? Do you want to comment on it? Yeah. There you go.
I don't think that's temporary. Everybody has learned something.
Yeah.
Even human beings are hard to learn sometimes, but I think that we can't go back again as we were before. Globally speaking, yes, of course, something that changed so rapidly, so quickly, perhaps we'll have more changes again, because we found ourselves in a mess.
Of course.
In a robo, but we can't go back again. That's what I think. For craft, or for economy, for everything.
Yeah. I wanted to add that my field is, of course, education, and we see that students who have been in lockdown for so long find it difficult to go back full-time life to the university. They maybe take it from an easy point of view, I don't know what, but they require that it will be a hybrid form of education. And maybe this is where we are evolving towards. Yes. Also like smart working, which was in the beginning something very new, but I think this has now definitely found its position in the economy. And together with this smart working, maybe also laboratories for artisans. Is there anybody else from Finland who wants to, comment?
Thank you. Hi. I feel I should say something.
Yeah.
My name is Anna Nordström. I'm the managing director for the Crafts Österbottnian Crafts Association in Vasa, Finland. We have courses, events, exhibitions, and we also have a shop where we sell the local craftsmen's products. Okay. So during COVID, we of course we couldn't have the physical courses and workshops, so we started to try having online courses and workshops like that, and we got good feedback from many people that said that I wouldn't be able to join this workshop if it wasn't online, and I feel that aspect will live on.
Will remain.
Yes, but of course now when we can again have the physical workshops, I can see that people are so thrilled. They are so happy to meet face to face again and do crafting together. Yeah. So that's I think both will
remain.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. I'm bringing you the mic. Making myself useful. There you go.
I think that this is possibly the time as well to think of the next stage. I think, yes, there's lots has been learned from lots of businesses, lots of transition onto digital, and now is the opportunity to look at what that means going forward for broader geographical reaches now that maybe people didn't have before. Looking at export opportunities and broader markets and different markets and what that might mean. But also with our programs and courses, the knowledge exchange that can happen right across Europe now and across the world because everybody is now operating in the digital world and online and through Zoom and Teams, etc. So there's lots of opportunities have been opened, and I think we're now moving into the phase of looking at leveraging those for going forwards.
So it's access to new markets, if you want to. So this was another theme of this project, access to new markets. So it comes automatically as an advantage of COVID. Maybe it's also a good thing to look at the positive sides. It has happened, COVID, we can cry over it eternally, but it's best to look at what it brought from a positive side. What helps the young entrepreneurs or the artisanals to work better. So you think maybe other countries can agree or not that accessing international markets has become easier. You as well. Nathalie, do you know something about this from Antwerp, from young entrepreneurs? That they go more easily on an international market now, thanks to the digital, let's say, revolution, we can say, almost. No, she's coming herself, that's better. Yeah.
Thank you. Depends a bit on the industry, but I don't feel that they've been internationalizing a lot more. And still internationalizing is something in the crafts industry, but just in the creative industry as a whole as well, is something that we see is really difficult for them. So there are a couple of roadblocks. We are currently in Antwerp doing a study, especially for the fashion industry and the fashion crafts, to see why that is so. Because that's a territory that hasn't been explored yet. So we know that looking at these creative industries, there's a lesser percentage that does internationalize, but we don't know exactly why that is.
I saw that Elena reacted differently, so that's interesting.
No, I just want to add something that, for example, to be in an international market in internet, so it is also a way to bring people, clients, back to your shop.
Yes. Yes.
That's very important. And what is the difference? What is the better way to do that? To be able to communicate in a very good way your product. Your product can be the best, can be the most beautiful. For example, in our selection, we have 4 jewelers. And they all do beautiful things. It's very difficult to say that one is better than the other and so on. Mm-hmm. Everyone has his own
specialty.
Yes, of course. But who can communicate better? So who can, like also, now we also need emotions, not just the product. So storytelling, for example, is a method very important to tell something.
It's human to human. It's a person who sells something to a person.
And perhaps I think that COVID also accelerated also this aspect, because we were for months, that was a long time, because none of us was accustomed to be so closed for such a long time. So now digital skills and technologies help us to reach different markets and so on, but we also need to the human relationship. So this is something that can be paradoxical, if you want, no? Because we want to go far, but we need to be close. So that's why...
you want to sell an experience.
That's so.
This was already, I think, before COVID, the case, that we want to sell an experience, something unique. Everybody wants a unique product, although they're all mass production products. But maybe this now has popped up, because we missed the contact. If I understand you well, we missed the contact for so long that now we appreciate it extra. Something like that?
Yes. And I want to add something else, that is, for example, that technologies helps to personalize things. So I want to buy a ring, and I want something that I have in my mind and so on. So thanks to technology, I can ask someone who
to write something or whatever.
Yeah, that is also very important, because, as you said, we like unique things. We are globalized, so we are also in the direction to be unique, to find something really personal.
Okay, thank you. Anybody who wants to comment on that? Miss, you? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And we all 3 and all 3 and more 5 women. We have a craft shop here in UNESCO's heritage area here in Vaasa.
Area, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
It's Kvarken shop.
Kvarken, yes, I remember, because I read all the good practices. Yes.
And welcome.
I was very sorry that we could not visit your shop, That was really a pity.
And later.
Yeah, and you all work there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's very important that we are so good friends. It's the best thing.
You work together more than that you are competitors?
I don't understand.
How can I say it? Is it that you work more together than that you compete? That you beat each other dead with the prices? Something... Yeah, so you...
we have different products.
Is this because of the geographical location, or is it because of the economic situation?
It's so fun to do.
Can you maybe translate for us?
What was the question?
The question is, so Kvarken, if I understand well, is geographically a little bit isolated also? It's in a special zone? Do you have this close relationship with your competitors because you are in this specific situation, or is it because of the economic situation that you think, okay, it's better that we are one strong group and we present as a group on the market?
We are together.
Yeah, together. This is very interesting point of view. Eh?
Yeah.
Do they do the same products, the same object, or not?
No, we have different.
What can we know what the three of you do?
Yeah, I knit.
Paint. You paint.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, with these masks, you not understand anybody. Okay, you paint and you.
Felting.
Felting.
hats
Yeah.
and
Okay.
accessories, and I teach some institutes.
Okay.
My
Practical courses. Okay. And what is it that you do?
I take steam bags out of Finnish bridge levels. And
Oei.
okay. Okay. I make steam bags out of Finnish bridge levels.
Okay.
And herbal salts from nettles, turmeric, mushrooms, and other things. And
you make the bags? No.
Yeah, I take salts. Salts, yes.
Salt.
Yes.
Okay.
From nettles,
Sale.
turmeric, and mushrooms, and other Finnish natural herbs. I have.
Yeah, okay, that's good, yeah.
And also I make resin cream and tar cream.
Okay,
Yes.
so you do three totally different things.
Yes, and also other of us make jewelry, felting, food accessories, and ceramics.
Also?
Yes.
So you go from food to ceramics?
Yeah.
Okay, very active people.
Yeah, we are.
Maybe because it's so long a dark period in Finland that you're more creative and you come up with better ideas. Okay, Sylvia, is there would you like to introduce maybe a new topic?
I was thinking.
Yeah, good.
No, this week we finished a program. Also, another.
Keep it close, otherwise we.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Online. Yeah, it was this week. We finished a program, a course that we did online during 3 months about how to create your craft enterprise, and we invite 2 artisans. And one of them was participating last year in that program, and she told us her experience about how she changed her business and how she was explaining us how collaboration is so important. She has so many. She showed us a lot of examples of how she participated. She has participated in one event, then she went to another place and talked with somebody, how she presents. She has awarded some well, she was recognized for her job in rural areas. I don't know, like she was explaining what she was doing during these years, and there are a lot of movement. Like she was doing things all the time and talking with people and trying to try. Don't like. Yeah.
And she built up a network. Is this where you're going? Is it the network that is
maybe
important?
Something like that. Or she wanted to say that collaboration is important. That things. You need to stay there and trying to.
So we are moving towards a more sustainable world. Then, if you are going to collaborate instead of killing each other economically, is this what I can conclude from? Which is a very positive thing. If this is going to be the outcome of COVID, then we must be happy almost that it has passed. Okay.
And then. Another point of view was another artisan that he received a grant from the ISEX. IFEX. It's here in Spain is the institution that give commercialized grants or aids to different sectors. And he received one of these, and he was able to travel to America, and he was doing barrels to contain
barrels, yeah.
wine, and then he was in touch with a factory there, and it was amazing the growth of this company. Like just this trip, because he didn't speak English, and he just had a baby, but this travel, this opportunity for him to be in contact with this company in America, and that experience for, I don't remember, maybe some weeks, give him like a new perspective, a new point of, and then they have grown a lot, that now they are doing barrels for Denmark, for whiskey, like they have expanded so well and very, very good. Like, yeah, it takes time, maybe 2-3 years, but and every year they are innovating and they are doing new things. Now they are like, their barrels are sustainable. They are using wood from forests that are certificate and close to the area. So
thanks to the contact abroad.
Yeah, that contact was the beginning.
So we still learn from each other then.
Yeah, and that's very important. So
okay, would anybody like to comment on that?
I don't know. Yeah, I think the abroad experiences are always good in general, and I invite all the craft people and also the people who work with them to transmit that to them, because it's wonderful always.
Thank you. Anybody who would like to add something here? No. I think that maybe we can round up the conversation. Is that okay with you? Do we all feel fine with it, or is there something you want to say? You still want to comment? I think our partner from Finland. Do you want to say something? No. Yeah. Would you like to comment on what you just heard?
Oh, no, I don't say anything.
No. Okay.
It's so difficult.
I think the collaboration, for these women here, for example, the Quarken shop, because we are such a small area, and it's important to do the collaboration, because together they are stronger. They have all different products, but still, they are from the same area, and the area they represent the area, and for tourists, it's stronger to be together. In last year 2019, they had 56,000 visitors. So that's
not so bad.
No,
that's not so bad.
Yes.
Okay.
And also for the whole Ostrobotnian area, I feel as our task is to lift, help the Ostrobotnian crafters. So I also see the collaboration as just positive.
I find that a very interesting point of view, I must say. Yeah.
Because we lift the whole area, and we want to lift all the crafters and what they represent, and the Ostrobotnian crafts as one.
It's a good example. It's a very good example. Yeah.
And also I came to mind about what COVID and what has changed. Many crafters had come up with their do-it-yourself packages, as Mitter Sisters is a very good example too. That you don't have to buy the product, but you can buy the experience. So I feel that is something that it has been going on for a longer time, also before COVID, but perhaps during COVID it has developed even more, and I see that in our area too, that we sell a lot of yarns, people knit as never before, and it's
Okay, we saw also an example of that about this TV show that you have in Finland, where people knit these sweaters.
Strömsö, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, when that pattern got released, I don't know how many downloads they had during the first day, and yarn shops were, emptied with yarn because people wanted to knit that sweater.
Good.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, we can maybe close off with this positive note, and that I think we are maybe slowly moving towards a more sustainable economy, which is, of course, great news. It's a pity that there are not 600 people here who can share our idea, but we can start with this little group and then move it upwards. Thank you very much for all your comments and for your presence and your open-mindedness. Thank you.